Well, hello there everybody, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, the channel where we get to talk about nature while playing games. We are back in Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, and we are just heading across the stream here. We are in the area where the Zeswa clan is. We are in the upper plains, and we're just heading across the stream to where we can meet Kin, I believe. He is chilling on the other side there, I suspect, next to that big Zakru that is resting on the other side there. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, or in this case, the massive Zakru on the plains. So the Zakru being the largest animal we are ever going to encounter, I believe, in Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And you can see here, Pasuk, this one over here, is brightly decorated. Like with elephants in the Indian subcontinent, in areas where they are revered and where they are often used in ceremonies, and so the elephants of course would also be adorned either with paint or decorations, and so too the Zakru here around which the Zeswa have built their whole culture would also be decorated, and they form an incredibly important part in the culture of the Zeswa clan. Now the Zakru over here, Pasuk, is fast asleep. Well, kind of asleep. Hello there, Pasuk. Yeah, beautiful. So you can see kind of waking up to look at us. So he is currently in a state of torpor. Torpor basically being when your metabolism shuts down, not like completely but greatly. You're resting. You are awake. You are, in this case, they are feeding. So they are in a state of what we call feeding torpor. But at the moment they're not spending a lot of energy trying to maintain their body temperature and things like that. They're not moving. They're not doing much. They're just sleeping. And it's like hibernation, but also not quite the same as hibernation. But all the Zakru that we encounter in the game here are currently in a state of feeding torpor. Now we're just going to go raise the celebration kites, because apparently the sisters have returned, and we are going to be celebrating the fact that the Sarentu, that's us, have returned. Now, on open plains that are extremely windy, which here this area definitely is, kites would be an amazing way to communicate over long distances. Different colored kites can be raised to communicate with each other, to indicate that, listen, there's a hunting party coming your way, or there's danger, or help us, we are in danger, or come for a feast. You know, so different colored kites and the amount of kites, all of those things could potentially communicate a variety of different things. And here are the sisters and the final kite.
Now everyone will know we stand together.
Yes.
The last visit of the Sarentu was many migrations ago. You return now to bring us new stories. Stories of war, of resistance. And this time, we will tell them together. Now we hold the same spear, and we ride as one.
So, what do you think of our lands?
They're stunning, and so vast. I wish I could fly, but my Ikran won't answer my call.
The wind of the plains is merciless. Ikran need to know you will keep them safe.
The Ikran riders can teach you how, if you find them in Ewa.
In the Chamber of Echoes, it is not far. With our circle on your back, walk by the leaning tree and past the hill.
They are off on another of their mindless hunts.
Not mindless. Never mindless.
The Sky People don't do anything without a plan. I can try to find out what it is.
Find the riders in Ewa, warrior. Fly your Ikran. We will strike the Sky People's camps from above.
And when you look at that, we have a new weapon, the Spear Thrower. And that is definitely one of my favorite weapons to use against the amp suits. Now there have been some gunshots in the area, and of course we're going to be taking out some RDA in a moment, again, always fun. But before we do so, we are going to learn to fly on the open plains. And before I do that, I'm going to learn some new recipes. So here from Akru we can get a whole bunch of designs for armor. And from Solali we can get some bow designs, and a new spear thrower. And so we are off to go and learn how to fly on the open plains with our Ikran. How to guide our Ikran here in the area where it's extremely windy. The idea is that we are learning from the ancestral Ikran riders, and in the process then we become more familiar with the area, and then our Ikran will feel more comfortable with us guiding her. And here we go. I guess this is the spot. It's not even that far away from camp. Alright, and here we go. That was quick, and hello there. And now, of course, we can fly. Now, here on the open plains, there are very few places to hide. I mean, it is vast, it is open. But these bush clumps over here do provide some shelter, and they are called sheltering bush clumps. For that reason. So animals, of course, would come and find shelter in here. Plants that can't handle these strong winds, their seeds will most likely blow into these sheltering bush pods, where they will then establish, and then they will start growing. So if you can't handle the wind, then you find shelter amongst these sheltering bush pods. And in some of them, I know you can also find some bones. So obviously some animals also go there. They either die there, or they are dragged there when they have been killed by predators. They may be dragged there as well. Now we are just heading off a little bit more to the southwest, where there is a camp of poachers, I believe, that we've got to take out. Alright, so I guess it's time to cause some chaos. Another one down. Oh, I'm almost dead. These guys are much stronger than I'm used to. Oh yeah, I'm gonna die. Retreat! Alright, let's try this again, shall we? Now for the two big guys. And yeah, well, that's a one-shot kill. I love the spear thrower. I just have to wait for this guy to turn around a bit. Like that. Almost got him. And there he is. Haha. Spear thrower for the win. Unfortunately, what we can see is this is definitely some kind of poacher's camp. We've got a whole bunch of arrow deers that are dead here. We've got a dead dire horse. We've got these poor little smaller creatures, all of them. Yeah, a whole bunch of organisms that are no longer with us. Okay, so according to a computer we just hacked, they are dropping off a whole bunch of stuff at a camp. So we're going to investigate that, but that will be next time. For now, we're just going to first create a better spear thrower. But for that, we need good quality reed. And the best place to find that is actually very close to where we are. Very, very close to where we are also supposed to go for the quest. So we are heading in that general direction, but we're going to try and stay out of danger, out of sight, out of mind, and out of danger. In fact, here we already have some superior sunset reed. But it seems we need bloodleaf pollen for it to be perfect harvesting. So Talon has been playing with the old walkie-talkie, the one he got from Mercer, and he doesn't want Priya to give him a new one. That kind of sounds suspicious. Now we've harvested an exquisite reed over here, still not with blood pollen. So it seems that there's some kind of relationship here between the blood pollen, the bloodleaf trees, and these reeds. That whenever there is bloodleaf pollen being blown all over the place, it seems that the reeds are actually better to harvest. So maybe there's some kind of chemical in the actual pollen of the bloodleaf trees that gives the reeds an additional quality when you harvest it. I guess that's the lore-wise, that makes sense. Now, of course, as we had in the Kinglor Forest, bioluminescence in the dire horses here, on the dire horses here, and also on the plants that we have all over the place here. They all are bioluminescent. As we run through them, they triggers a whole bunch of bright colors as we run through here. It's just beautiful. Such a beautiful, beautiful game. Now we have got exquisite quality reeds, we have got a superior quality bone. We can now actually go and make a better spear thrower. So let's do that as we slowly move past the Sound Blast Colossus. I mean, look at that. Such a beautiful, beautiful creature. And as they breathe, you can in fact see the sail moving up and down. Now, sails like those are features of a variety of extinct creatures, things like Spinosaurus, even Acrocanthosaurus, which was a big North American predatory dinosaur, had not really a sail like this, but a high ridge along its back. Now, big sails like that with Spinosaurus, you don't really know what it was for. It could have been for thermoregulation, it could have been for to attract a mate, it could have been for a variety of reasons. Some also speculated maybe it was in fact used to swim better, although that theory is generally a debunked one. They've done some tests and they found that surely that does not actually increase the efficiency with which they swim. In fact, it most likely results in them swimming using more energy to swim. But with the Sound Blast Colossus, what actually happens with these sails is quite ingenious. They will, if they feel threatened, they will ensure that they turn in such a way that there's wind blowing across onto their sails and actually being funneled into holes on the side of their bodies. And then as that happens, it's actually funneled into chambers, and then the Sound Blast Colossus can release that wind as this air wave to knock predators away, or us off our dire horses, or Ikran if we are flying on there. So it's a defense mechanism, and without these sails they wouldn't be able to catch the wind and then use it as a defense mechanism. Now, of course, just because it is mainly used as that does not mean that it's not also used to attract a partner, because we've got the young one in the back there, and you can see it's a, well, greener color, and the sail is not as bright orange as the adult over here. So it's just an adult, it's not a mature breeding individual yet. In fact, if we go into the mature individual here, you can see the colors become a little bit more vivid. And that's because they are, of course, are trying to attract a partner for reproduction. When they are just an adult and not in breeding color, it is brightly colored, but it doesn't have the bright orange blotches, for example, all along the sail here, indicating that, listen, I am in my reproductive prime, please join me and let's make some young Sound Blast Colossi. Such a cool creature. I'm sure we'll have a good look at them again in future. For now though, we're just heading back to the circle so that we can just quickly go and make a new spear thrower for ourselves. Oh dear, okay, I've run right into a pack of cloaked panthers. They are quite fast, but the dire horse is built for speed. So we have the need for speed at the moment because we are running away from them. But the cloaked panthers, the main pack hunting predators in the grasslands of the upper plains. Alright, and we are back, and we are just on the other side of the circle over there. And before I talk about the dire horse a little bit more, just quickly wanted to show you something. And we tried this on the stream on Sunday and it didn't work properly, but I figured out something new regarding these guys, the fire seeds. So I thought that you could only change exquisite quality fire seeds into pale fire seeds, and it turns out I was wrong, because you can take these normal ones, and these are all fine, they're boring fine ones. You can take them, and if you ignite them and they all start burning, just make sure you stand outside of the fire. So technically this fire should spread, the entire grassland should burn down now, but you know, we don't want that in the game. So thankfully they made it that it just burns a little patch around these plants. These cones have all now opened up, and we looked at that in the previous episode. But what you can now do is, if you equip your shotgun and you change to the storm ammo. I see I don't have a lot of storm ammo left, but that is alright. If we now take this normal fire seed and we shoot it with our storm rounds, if we take this one in front here, which we shot, if we look at it, it says it's a fire seed, a normal fine fire seed. However, if we stand close and look at gather, it says that it is in fact now a pale fire seed, and if we harvest this one, it should be exquisite quality. So, and there we go. We now have two exquisite pale fire seeds, which we obtained from a normal fine fire seed plant. And it should also be this one. It says there that it's a fine fire seed, but if we harvest it, it should then be an exquisite quality, two exquisite quality pale fire seeds also. There we go. Easiest way to get pale fire seeds in the game. Now, back to our dire horse over here. Really designed for the life on the open plains. Very, very fast. Technically they are centaurs, considering that centaurs have got 6 limbs, and well, there we go. These guys also have 6 limbs, although centaurs, of course, would just have the 4 legs of a horse and then 2 arms of a human, and of course a human head. But, you know, if I squint, this could look like some people I know. Now, something interesting I noted with the dire horses are the pupils. If we take a good look at it here, you'll see that the pupils are horizontal. For the big eyes, the main eyes, they will always be horizontal to the horizon. So even if it tilts its head down, those pupils will remain horizontal. Whereas the smaller ones that are in front there, their pupils are kind of at an angle. They are not aligned with the horizon. Now those pupils that are horizontally orientated, along with the fact that the eyes are on the sides of the head, gives the dire horse almost 360-degree vision. But it only keeps things that are on this plane in focus. The things above and below that are semi out of focus. So if we were to imagine what the dire horse actually sees, instead of this, it would see more like this, but just more. They would see further back behind them. But additionally, they would have it blurred here and here. So only the central part actually is in focus, which I find quite interesting. So a lot of prey species will see the world that way. Horses, goats, sheep, those types of things. But predators will mainly have either vertically orientated pupils like cats would have, or like most cats at least would have, except for the Pallas cat, I believe, which has round pupils, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, there are some RDA up ahead. And there we go. So these are now the Commando Elites, it seems, which are a little bit more difficult to destroy silently, because they are extremely well armored, and if you look at them, the only real weak spot initially would be that top bit there, and the moment you shoot that, it kind of explodes and makes everyone aware that, listen, there's someone shooting at us at the moment, and then of course you can shoot the exhaust ports after that, I think. But difficult initially to start eliminating. But nice explosion from our grenade sling, that does the trick quite well. Now most predators, I think the cloaked panthers amongst others, they would have vertically orientated pupils, and the eyes would be slightly more to the front of the skull, and that gives them better vision to pinpoint the position of the prey that they are trying to catch. So prey species, they are trying to avoid predators, they're trying to detect the predators, and having horizontally orientated pupils allows them to detect even slight changes along the x-axis, whereas predators need to pinpoint the position of their prey more, so they will have vertically orientated pupils for that. Now, as you can see here, my combat strength has actually increased quite a bit. I've been running around getting up material and crafting a new longbow and heavy bow, and also the spear thrower for me, so I should now be better equipped for dealing with the poachers that we're going to take out now. So there are two camps that we need to get rid of, and let's run over there. We're not going to fly everywhere. Later on we are definitely going to be flying, but for now let's run with our dire horse. Let's get a little bit more mileage out of her before we start calling Temek to come and pick us up for the aerial extraction. Now it is interesting that the different habitats of the game here, they do focus on different environmental issues. If in the Kinglor Forest it was the over-exploitation of resources that's there. Of course, you will see that in some of the other habitats also, because, I mean, we do have drills and so here in the upper plains, and we'll have that in the Clouded Forest as well. But in the upper plains, we can also see a new threat. We see poaching being a major problem, over-exploitation of the wildlife in this habitat, in this biome that we have here. And in the Clouded Forest, I believe it's more focus on the overexploitation of the humans that are there. Also, yes, in the other areas, but if we're looking at the Kinglor Forest, and the storyline we'll get to there, it is more about the RDA manipulating the natives, the indigenous tribes, and just causing chaos in the process. Well, we can see quite a few RDA in here, and I do believe they also have a few animals that are in traps. There is a Sound Blast Colossus right over there. So let's just eliminate as many as we can. And time to go boom. And Johnny over there doing a little dance. And off you go, laddie. There we go. I think that was everybody. Now, of course, we are going to let the Sound Blast Colossus go. Off you go, little one. So let's find out what the poachers were up to.
Time to make some money, people. Set up those traps and check your sights. The market back home is wide open. As long as it's Pandoran, someone's gonna pay to have it on their shelf.
So it's trophy hunting for people back on Earth. And so here we have, of course, the arrow deer and the dire horses again. Now, most of these animals that they have caught would be the more common species, like the arrow deer and the dire horses. They're easy to extract. And not to go into too much detail, but a lot of conservation around Africa and around the world is based on hunting, which, if done properly and ethically, can provide quite a nice income for conservation. In this case, however, it is not done for any conservation benefit. It is literally just done for them to make money. And even things like cloaked panthers, which are your apex predators of the grasslands here, are being hunted. And their populations would not be able to support these levels of hunting. As a little interesting side note, note that we again have the puffball trees right over here, which we also encountered, of course, in the Kinglor forest, where this most likely was a sodic site, most likely had a bit of a leaching of salts from the higher lying areas. You'll typically have sodic sites in semi-arid regions, so regions that don't have extremely high rainfall. So this area probably doesn't have the highest rainfall. In high rainfall areas, sodium will actually be leached out of the soil completely, removed, stripped out of the soil by rainfall, by water moving along the soil or in the soil. In semi-arid areas, what you'll have is that there's partial leaching of sodium from the soil, so it migrates from higher lying areas to lower lying areas. And because this is technically a sodic site, these puffball trees do very well, where they take up the sodium and they make it a little bit more habitable for other plants, allowing them to also survive in this area. And there are some cloaked panthers. Hello, cloaked panther, we are running away from you again. It is definitely a different game, running around on the dire horse compared to flying around with the Ikran. We are definitely in far more danger with the dire horse than with the Ikran. But you feel a little bit more in touch with nature if you are doing it this way. And with Nic and I in our live stream on Sunday, we again will be running around with dire horses, because for some reason it seems the game kicks Nic out the moment we start flying. So we'll be running around with dire horses as much as we can. Alright, we're at the second poacher camp, and yeah, there are quite a few people around to take out. And sneaky, sneaky. Boom! There we go. And take that. And that. And that. And someone take that as well. And jump. There we go. Alright, time to just quickly hack again.
Stop buzzing the stone pillars, people! I don't want to see a Samson in the repair bay unless it has a spear sticking out of it.
Stone pillars?
I bet I know where that lodge could be.
And there was an access code. Now I just have to find what it unlocks. I'd better free the rest of the trapped animals and get back to their sisters first, though. Let them know what we found.
We've got a blade head over here. That one is now free. Okay, we have cleared both poacher camps. Now we are heading off to tell the two sisters at the circle that we have done this and this is what's happening. Listen, there are a whole bunch of poachers in your area, which you already know, but I'm going to tell you that in any case. And then from there we'll go and take out the main area, but that will be next week. So just a reminder, Nic and I will be live streaming on Sunday. If you want to come and join us, come and have a look at us playing a little bit more of Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Bring all your questions you have about nature and ecology, and let's have a little bit of fun in this game. So until next time, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a marvelous weekend, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!